Hello again, YouTube. It's Skylar. Welcome back to my face. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why being trans is awesome. A lot of the time, when we get into these negative news cycles where there's all this misinformation out there about trans people, oftentimes it can be very depressing and misleading, and we get ourselves trapped in these negative depression cycles. So what I want to do is make today's video about all the wonderful things about trans people and all the great benefits of being trans. And the first and foremost, which is the most prominent, is the fact that trans people have a unique experience, a unique life experience that no other person other than a trans person will ever experience. We have the unique opportunity to see life from both the male perspective and the female perspective and everything in between. Something that cisgender people rarely ever even get a chance to glimpse. And that makes us, as trans people, so much more well-rounded and more well-adapted to different social situations and just being a better person in general. Now, that doesn't mean to say that trans people are better than cis people. That's not what I'm implying. But we have a more unique perspective on life that gives us the opportunity to examine different situations from a different lens, from the male perspective and the female's perspective, so that we have greater ability to reconcile the differences between the genders, because a lot of times cis men and cis women, they don't get along. And that comes down to miscommunication, because the different lived experiences between cis men and cis women can be very different sometimes, and that causes a lot of issues that trans people do not generally have at all. Now, that's not to say that all trans people, because some people transition. I personally have had the experience of being both a man and a woman, so I'm able to see a more well-rounded view. But one of the things that I've realized that being trans has offered me is the ability to resolve conflict in social situations and really help de-escalate things and be the soothsayer and really just make everything more pleasant for people, rather than trying to escalate things and make things more problematic. Just more diplomacy in general. The next thing that I wanted to go over is the fact that trans people are extremely resilient. We are some of the strongest, most emotionally resilient people on the planet. I can't even begin to describe to you what it would be like if most cisgender people had to experience even a fraction of the amount of bigotry and discrimination that trans people face in their everyday life. We are incredibly resilient. We are stronger than Teflon. We are like that material that NASA uses for incoming space shuttles on re-entry into Earth's orbit. That's how resilient we are. And that resilience comes from the place of not only having to deal with the unique life experience of going through gender dysphoria and having to transition and completely change your entire way of living, your entire life, and which is all in itself really substantially difficult just on its own. But and then on top of that, to add all of the social stigma and the rejection from peers and family groups and institutions and discrimination and just all of the stigma that exists in society. If you want to know who the strongest person in the room is, it's probably the trans person. So keep that in mind whenever you hear people say things like, oh, trans people are snowflakes, or, so triggered. No, it's actually quite the opposite. We're some of the most strongest people in the room most of the time. And another thing that really that I wanted to include in this is the fact that we get to be more self-expressive and creative overall by having the experience of being trans. And what I mean by that is that we don't have the barriers to keep us from expressing ourselves in new and innovative ways, because we've already crossed that threshold in probably the most personal way possible, which is to change your entire gender, to transition from male to female or female to male or anything in between. Is, you know, that's one of the most drastic things that a person can go through, as far as like life experiences. It's like right up there with, like, you know, it's like one of the top three. Like, gender transition is like the biggest change that you can pretty much do. So anything beyond gender transition, it seems like a step down. It's actually not as intimidating as transitioning is. So we actually have a lot more experience being able to be self-starters and start new projects and ideas and businesses and being innovative and trying new things and learning and doing things from a different perspective, and let's try it this way. All of that comes from the struggle of having to go through gender transition. And then on the other side, everything seems so much easier compared to that. But those are just some of the things that I wanted to include in today's video. I'm not going to make this video super long, but I just wanted to be out there for reassurance for anybody that might be struggling right now as far as seeing what's on the news and all the negativity and all the hatred and the bigotry. Just know that, you know, you, as trans people, we do have positive qualities. We are good people. And just know that being trans made you stronger. It made me stronger. And just stay positive and try not to look at the negative as much. I know it's really hard to do that right now. I'm not going to get into politics at all, but I want this channel to just be a beacon of hope for people and try to stay as positive as possible. So with that said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by and tuning into my channel. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed my content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, please do so respectfully in the comment section below. If you'd like to suggest topics for future videos, let me know that as well. I really enjoy the feedback from you guys. You guys are awesome, and it's what helps keeps me motivated and helps keep my channel going. So until next time, have a wonderful day, and goodbye.